Hey guys, let's see here. I'm trying a new setup today, so give me just a second. Sorry if you hop on and you think, or you're watching the replay and you're like, oh my gosh, this is like a roller coaster. Sorry, I'm just trying to set up. Yeah, it's not really. Man, nope, there we go. That's not terrible. I'm a little crooked, but let's see if I move this. Sorry. No, this isn't really working very well. Oh, no. Every time I let it go, it flops. So, all right. So, hey, sorry again that it's a little crooked if you need to sit it like this to make it upright. Sorry. It's a little on an angle, but I needed my computer today. I usually prop it up on my computer and use my computer to angle it the correct way. But I need my computer today because if anybody hops on and needs specific ingredients and I don't know off the top of my head, I'm going to use some of my resources and research them live for you. So today's topic is ingredients. That is the number one thing. And I will tell you now, other than advertising and the front of the package kind of stuff, my second favorite thing, and really it is my first favorite thing with advertising and marketing stuff as the second, but mostly because, well, they both infuriate me, almost to the point of equal. But ingredients, you guys, ingredients are so incredibly important. They are what makes or breaks your health. They are I don't even know how to emphasize more than I can't emphasize it anymore. Ingredients are where it's at. I almost wish that was bigger, bolder, right in the front. Turn the package around and put that smack right on the front, as big as humanly possible, because that is the most important information on any piece of packaged food you can possibly buy. It's where the lies are kept. It's infuriating. I mean, I'll show you some things that just totally blow my mind. And we kind of talked about this a little bit in the first video with marketing and products and large corporations and stuff like that. And if I mention a specific company, don't take that to mean anything other than it's just sitting right here or I know about that company personally. Do your own research. My intent in all of this is for you to become the most informed consumer as possible. I don't ever want someone to just go buy something. Oh, somebody liked it, but I can't see who it is. Hi, whoever that. Oh, Kelly, there it is. Hi, Kelly. So where was I? Yeah. So my intent is for you never to say, well, Danielle told me I should do this, or Dr. Oz told me that this is the best thing for me, or Oprah, or some other random person. Research it yourself. I love it. Yay, it's you. Research it yourself. Go and look it up. Don't take my word for it. I'm not spewing anything other than yesterday when I screwed up with the teaspoon thing. And I knew when I was saying it, it really didn't sound right because I knew it was less teaspoons than grams. So, sorry that I got that confused. And I'm much more on my A game today. So bring your questions. I'm excited about this. So, like I was saying, the ingredient panel is really what makes or breaks your health. It makes or breaks whether you're losing weight. It makes or breaks. I almost think that they are far more important than tracking macros and stuff like that, because truly, if you are focused on eating as whole a food as possible, as clean as possible, a lot of these things aren't issues for you. But we live in America. We're busy. I am a mom of 2 children, full-time grad student. I work full-time as a health and wellness coach. I run challenges and fitness groups and all kinds of stuff. I host webinars like this, community volunteer. We don't have time to prepare every single thing. I would love to sit down and do tons of muffins every week that I know what's going into them, homemade granola bars, homemade fruit snacks. A lot of this is kid stuff because that's where I live. I mean, I live in kitty land over here. And so they eat freaking constantly, like all dang day they eat constantly, especially for some reason from like 6:37, whenever they wake up. About 30 minutes after they wake up until they go down for a nap, it is a constant stream of, I'm hungry, I want a snack, and it is in that extremely whiny voice and it drives me crazy. So, yes, I do choose convenient food sometimes, but hopefully the knowledge that we're going to talk about today will help you to choose the best things for you and your children. So, let's get started. Kelly, I know you're the only one on live right now, so if you have specific questions as I'm going through, stop me. I have, like I said in the very, very beginning, if you missed that, I have my computer set up live, so if you ask me about a particular ingredient or product, I can do some research real quick and live. So let's start with, let's just start right here, right with an infuriating one. Like I told you, other than advertising and marketing, ingredients are the most aisle rage inducing thing. And my friend Erica and I, she's a fellow coach, she's my coach, we talk about this all the time because once you have been enlightened, it's hard to unlearn the things that you've learned. Now, I will say it's not hard to go to the grocery store and pick them. But if you actually go and look at what you're doing, you're like, oh crap, I know that's bad. And then you're making an informed choice about what you're doing and what you're not doing. So things like this. And I wish that these were pickles because my kids eat a ton of pickles, but we're out of pickles and we buy like high quality pickles now and not just regular old brand pickles. And so they don't have what this has. This has been in there probably, let's see. Oh, well, it's not expired yet, but Matt likes jalapeno slices on stuff. In the real world, yes, I would love to slice up fresh jalapenos, but somehow these are in my fridge, so I'm sure he's eating them. Nobody's going to die probably off of this. But I wanted to show you, well, actually, hold on. Before I do that, let's run down just a very, very brief ingredient panel rundown so you know what you're looking at. The number one ingredient, and this is how ingredient panels in the United States are listed. This is part of the USDA regulations, the FDA regulations, that kind of thing, depending on what you're eating and drinking. They are listed as in what is the most percentage. I don't even know how to verbally explain this. The bulk of the product, the biggest ingredient, not necessarily the biggest, but what is in this product the most is listed as the number one ingredient. And then it goes down from that. A lot of times you see a little blurb at the bottom that says less than 2%. At that point, at the 2% point, the manufacturer no longer has to divulge what percentage it is. They just say it's less than 2. So it could be 2, could be 0.02. That they don't have to divulge. It's just a minuscule ingredient. And so, but that comes into play too. So we'll discuss that a little bit. But I wanted to give you a little hierarchy. That's a good way to put it. Hierarchy of what is actually in it. So if there's 15 ingredients listed, the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's going to be what's most in that product. So, okay. This is the jar of Mount Olive jalapeno slices. And I'll read you the ingredient list. It's not long. In clean eating, in the workshops that I do for that, I talk a lot about less than 5 ingredients. That's a good number to shoot for if you're trying for a clean diet. But okay, so this isn't that many, but is it clean? So jalapeno peppers, that's good. Since this is a jar of jalapeno peppers, you really want that to be your number 1 ingredient. That's not always the case. Water is the number 2, vinegar, salt, onions, garlic. There you go. That's not that bad, right? Calcium chloride, okay. 0.1% of sodium benzoate, which is a preservative, which is on the avoid list if possible. And yellow, number 5. Can you tell me why you need food coloring in jalapeno slices? Same thing with pickles. Go and look at every pickle jar that is in the main display case at the grocery store. Not the refrigerated ones, but the sliced pickles, the ones that they have almost a little yellow tint to the water to them. You can kind of see it in the sunlight. It's because there's yellow food coloring in there. That's not necessary. Why do manufacturers do that? Because they have degraded the product so much that if they don't do that, people will not buy the product because it doesn't look like a jalapeno anymore. It looks like a very, I know, girl with the big old O face. I know, it pisses me off. Because seriously, my kids eat a ton of pickles, like a ton of pickles. And we really had to search far and wide. And yes, I will say, yes, you can make your own pickles and it's awesome and they taste great. My kids don't eat the pickles I make. Maybe I don't make very good pickles. But my kids don't eat okay, there we go. We're back up. So, anyways, that's a really good number one. I mean, this is a really, if you take nothing else away from this other than the damn pickle thing or the jalapenos, don't buy jalapenos and pickles that have food coloring in them. Natural food doesn't need color added to make it the color it's supposed to be. So there we go. That's number one thing we can talk about. Let's see. Oh, this was another good one that'll cause you, or me anyway. I can't speak for you, but I can speak for me. It causes me aisle rage. We talked about this the other day. We bought this for our dog when he was really sick. It's just rice. Just boil in a bag rice. Would you expect that it has anything other than rice in it? Even the white rices that cook really quick, that kind of stuff, we don't consider those a clean item because they've been stripped of their nutritional properties so much that that your body doesn't process them correctly. Like we were talking about before, the micronutrients and the enzymes that are naturally in the food that your body knows how to process are stripped out of that. And so either they add them in or they don't. So boil in a bag rice should be just rice. There should be one ingredient on the list, rice, and then maybe bag that rice is in. Unfortunately, that's not the case. Enriched long grain parboiled rice, so this is partially pre-cooked. That's what parboiled means. Niacin, which is one that I want you guys to write down on your whatever, like, I don't know if you take like a little satchel or something. I don't know if satchel's even the thing. Like I have like a little coupon carrier that I take with me to the grocery store. And in the beginning of when I was doing this, I wrote down some buzzwords that I wanted to avoid. And so that way I wasn't constantly like Googling on my phone every time I went to the grocery store. I just had these buzzwords to know that's not what you want to look up. So niacin is a big time avoid, like avoid niacin. Thiamine, another one to avoid. You won't find that in very much stuff other than this, but niacin is a really big one. And folate, which is folic acid. But folate is the synthetic form of it, whereas folic acid is the natural form of it. So again, why are you adding folate into rice? Rice naturally has folic acid in it. It doesn't need it added in unless they have stripped it and they have to re-add it in. So those are two really good ones that I picked out. And I wish I had more stuff. Like I almost wish I could do this from back when we started this because there was a lot more that we could talk about. But I seriously, like Snapchat. Yeah, you can Snapchat me too. But snapshot your packages if you have questions tonight. You get home after work and you're like, oh man, I want to know about this and this and this. Do that. So these are whole grain flatbread pita pockets, whole wheat flour, water, wheat gluten, honey, yeast, sunflower oil, rosemary extract, and vitamin E, which is in the sunflower oil, salt, calcium propionate, which is a preservative, natural enzymes, and fumaric acid, which is another thing that they add to bread to keep it fresh longer. Bread is one that once you start being aware of what they put into bread, if you've ever, number one, if you've ever made your own bread, you would be like, okay, well, bread's not really that complicated. It's flour, salt, yeast, water, maybe a little sugar to proof the yeast. Like, it's really not that complicated in ingredients. But bread is one of the notorious things, and that's because people want to keep it on their shelf longer. They get angry at manufacturers that their bread has gone bad in such and such a time, and so the manufacturers continue to pump out or pump more chemicals into the bread to keep it preserved longer. Keep in mind, what they're putting in your bread, you're putting in your body. So if they're putting in this, and it's not like, oh, good, they're preserving the bread, so that means they're preserving my inside, so I'll live longer. It doesn't work that way. So, okay. Oh, here's another one that I pulled out. So this is that bag of brown rice we talked about the other day. Ingredients. Brown rice. It's the only thing that should be in rice. So keep in mind when you're looking, especially at things that are like, use your common sense. If it's a bag of brown rice, it should just have rice in it. Don't put other crap in my rice. Like, make a whole like rant video about that. Okay, these are Annie's little organic chewy bars, and we'll talk about organic and GMO stuff tomorrow. But you can see the list on that. It ain't short, people. It ain't short. So this is something that I would not consider falling into the clean variety. It is something I give my kids because it's better than a lot of other stuff out there. But the biggest takeaway from this kind of stuff, guys, is eat real food. If it's not a real food no, who was that said sad? No. Eat real food. If it's not a food item, don't eat it. Like, it's not that hard. And I'm not preaching at you from a like, look at me, I'm so lofty and I eat whole food and raw all the time. Obviously, I don't. We have stuff in our pantry that if some kind of clean food licensing company came to my house, they'd be like, no, you can't do that. So I'm not coming at you with this from like a holier than thou standpoint. I'm coming to you as a peer, but an informed peer that can teach you about what you're doing. So yeah, these not great, but they're better than some of the other stuff, especially like, oh God, what was it that we ate when we were kids? Kudos bars. That's what they were called. Kudos. I can even still remember the package. I remember I ate a ton of those things, which were not good at all. So even if, when you get time, and I realize as mothers, you don't have a lot of time at the grocery store, but maybe one evening you have time to sit down and look online and Google Annie's organic peanut butter chocolate chip granola bars and put that in a screen share next to Kudos granola bars on the ingredient. You can Google ingredients lists, guys. You don't have to do it at the store. Google ingredients lists of stuff that you want to compare what you have to. And put them side by side and make an informed choice that way. That's a really good way to do it. But there's lots of stuff in this that I would be like, nah. Oh, the other thing that I wanted to address, especially now that natural, organic, GMO, gluten-free, whole food revolution is taking over, and I'm a part of that. Like, that is my intense desire, is to educate people on how to live healthier lives. And in that, manufacturers know that. They know people are seeking out. There's a demographic of people who are seeking out healthier choices. So they're going to put out healthier choices and charge you a lot for them because they know people, a sector of the demographic is going to buy that. But here's the thing. Don't be fooled by dumb crap. Like, don't be fooled by marketing techniques. For example, things like little starred right here where it's a star and it says that it is an organic sugar. Well, sweetheart, sugar's sugar, whether it's organic or not. I mean, thank you for not lacing it with pesticides and all kinds of other crap, but it's still sugar, and that's still not a great ingredient for you to be overloading your body into, especially if you take a look at the video yesterday. I posted those, the recommendations and stuff like that. I mean, this has 6 grams of sugar in it for 1 bar, which actually in the granola bar aisle is much better than a lot of them. But, whether it's starred organic or not, they can put a little star and put it was organic. This can't be organic niacin, but they can put a star beside or an asterisk beside it and say it's organic such and such. Well, yeah, it's organic because you're not spraying pesticides on it, but it's still not something you need to be putting in your body. And the last thing I brought out were my hard Twizzlers again. I still really should throw them in the trash, but contains less than 2%. That's why I brought this out. Artificial flavor, mono and diglyceride, citric acid, potassium sorbate, artificial colors, red. And if there's anything that, again, if you're taking notes on this kind of thing, don't buy stuff with artificial color in it. That would be my number one. Like, if you need something to take away from this workshop and take to the grocery store next week, don't, put it back. If it has artificial color in it, just put it back on the shelf. You don't need it, and there are other options without it. Now, I will warn you, aisle rage is a real thing, and you may end up throwing all the Twizzlers back and saying, you know what, screw this, I'm done. I don't even need the dang Twizzlers, because they all have artificial color in them. But keep a real sharp eye out for artificial colors, especially in foods. I mean, now, Twizzlers, of course, there's going to be artificial color in it. It's not real food. There's no real food in a Twizzler other than sugar. But that doesn't, what was I trying to say? I don't know, just eat real food. Don't eat artificial colors. They're not good for your body. They slow down your metabolism. They slow down your gut health and the processing of this stuff like that. So just keep a real sharp eye out on that. And, going back to the jalapenos, my question is about blue corn tortillas. Okay, I'll address that in just a second. So going back to the jalapenos, if you're going to have a Twizzler and you're going to be informed about what's in a Twizzler, you know what you're putting in your body. You realize you're not eating real food. This is not a real food. This is a chemically derived, put together in a laboratory thing that is then strung through a mold feeder, cut off and dried to a certain extent so that it's edible, able to be eaten. It does not make it real food, guys. But things like jalapeno slices and pickles and all kinds of other things that have artificial color in them that by nature should never have to be colored because they are another one. And I don't want to blow your mind and blow a whole wide door open. But Halo oranges, those little sweeties, they're treated with orange color so that they're that way longer. Again, make an informed choice. Are you going to stop buying little cutie oranges? That's up to you. But just make an informed choice. So, okay, Kelly, you're asking about blue corn tortilla chips. Let me search an ingredient panel real quick because we don't typically buy that item. So, I do know that the brand that we purchase does make a blue corn tortilla chip, and the brand that we buy of chips that we really have liked, and I like the ingredient panel on them, is Food Should Taste Good. I know they sell them at the commissary, Kroger, I think maybe Publix. I don't know. I know they don't sell them at Aldi. Chip. Excuse me just a second. Davin, I'm on a video. I'll be up in just a minute. Okay, so let's see. Sorry. He's supposed to be napping. Ingredients and nutrition facts. Organic blue corn. So that's what I thought. And I did not want to say something that I wasn't 100% sure of. Blue corn is a variety of corn. So that's not artificially colored blue in these chips. Again, if you're buying Garden of Eden, yeah, those are fine. Totally fine. They're not putting a bunch of artificial color in their stuff. But like if you're looking at maybe, I don't even know that Tostitos does this, but if you're looking at like say a Tostitos or a more common brand, like the big brands, Nestle, Quaker, I mean those kind of brands that are mass producing stuff, those are the ones you need to keep even a sharper eye out on, because a lot of times they may, especially like pay attention to wording on the front of packages too, since we're talking about this. We talked about it a little bit in the first day, but if things have quotation marks around them, that typically means that that's not a real item. So if it says blue corn chips, blue is probably a food coloring and not the type of corn. You really have to pay attention. I almost wish I had talked more about this in the first day. You really have to pay attention to things that say, oh, and that brings another thing to mind too that I don't want to forget. I wish that I had a good example of this, but things that say vanilla flavor, like vanilla will be really super big, and it'll say like, okay, we'll just use cookies. So it'll say vanilla really big, and then cookie at the bottom, like right here. And then right underneath of it in small letters, it will say flavored. So if you read it all together, it would say vanilla flavored cookies. But nobody wants the vanilla flavored cookies. They just want vanilla cookies. So they are assuming that there is real vanilla in these cookies. But you turn over the ingredient panel, and again, that's where all the lies are exposed, kind of thing. That's where it would tell you what is flavoring it vanilla, if that makes sense. Or if it says chocolate flavored, does it have actual cocoa in it? Or is it some chemically derived flavoring kind of thing? But this is going to bring up my last point, unless somebody else has another question that's specific. Things that say, and dang it, I really wish I had it. Oh, maybe this has it. No, this doesn't have it either. And that's because I really have made a very big point to avoid it. But things that say an ingredient in the back, because the front of a panel will say natural food or natural granola bars, natural barbecue sauce, whatever. Natural is that big buzzword that goes around now. You flip it over and you're like, cool, this is natural. It's all healthy for me. I'm good. I'm going to throw this in my cart. But you look at the back of it and it says natural flavor. That is an unregulated term that means nothing other than the fact that it came from some derivative of something. Wood is natural. Grass is natural. We talked about this the other day. Cat urine is natural. That doesn't mean you want to eat it. So be very, very, very leery of anything that says natural flavor on the back, especially in ingredient panels, because that is an all-encompassing word that really doesn't mean all that much. Another one I'm very leery of in packaging is things that say spices. Like, what spices? To me, a package, there's no reason a company should not be able to be proud of what they're putting in their thing. Nobody's going to steal their recipe. Everybody has their own unique variety of the way that they're putting together these products. So if they are bubble labeling something as natural flavor or spices, they really need to be more forthcoming in order for me to purchase their product. I get very leery. I'm very, very wary of things that are not absolutely explained on the ingredient panel. And most of the time, I end up putting it back, to be honest. So hopefully that was helpful. If you have other questions, specific like screenshots or snapshots of ingredient panels, there are other ones that I want to talk about too. Shoot, there's one in cheese, and I wish I had cheese that I could say, but any shredded cheese, niacin is added to that. It is an antibiotic. So just be real wary of that. Nitrates, that's the other one. Oh my gosh, nitrates. Okay, so that's one that I teach in my clean eating class a lot, nitrates. Avoid nitrates in food. There are naturally occurring nitrates in things like celery powder and stuff like that, which are not an issue. Your body knows how to process that. Nitrates that are chemically added, and synthetic nitrates that are chemically added into food, are toxic to your body. There are research studies after research studies about their link to cancer. So and it will infuriate you to go to the grocery store. Yep, my kitchen is a rainbow of colors. I know, sorry. But take the knowledge that you have and go and make a better choice the next time. None of this is shaming. Nobody is sitting here like, well, Lisa's got a big old kitchen full of artificial colors. Good for her. Like, I'm not judging you. I've been there. There are still things that I still have coloring in, but the best thing you can do for yourself is to take this information and every time you go to the grocery store, make a better choice. It's not difficult. Just look for something better. Even if you can only make one better choice, that's better than none. And that's certainly better than regressing. So back to the nitrates. Yeah, nitrates. Deli meat is a number one big culprit. Deli meats, hot dogs, smoked meats, sausages, and just guys, just avoid them. Some brands that I use, Simple Truth has nitrate-free. Healthy Ones is the one I get at the commissary. Boar's Head carries a nitrate-free label. I will warn you, if you ask most of the deli people, unless they are a manager, work there a long time, or a rep for the company, like the Boar's Head guy that's putting out the meat, they have no idea. Just ask them to see the package. Say, hey, can I see that package of chicken right there? I just want to look at the ingredient panel. They'll let you turn it around. They'll let you look at it. Just act confident about it and just say, hey, can I see that real quick? I just need to look at the ingredient panel. If it says nitrates, just put it back. It's frustrating as all get out. Applegate's another brand, but that one's super expensive. They sell it in prepackaged flats. So, that is a brand that you can go to if you really are just in a hurry and you know you need to grab something. Applegate's a good one. I think Target carries that. I don't know what Walmart carries. I've never found anything at Walmart that I approve of meat-wise. The more local you can get it sourced, the better. That kind of thing. Just be informed. And if you have questions, text me, Google it, Google and ask. One of the websites I really like is authoritynutrition.com, and they explain a lot of stuff, and they do a really good job of research backing what they have to say. They're not just putting out some stupid opinion. All right, I won't keep you guys any longer because I know this video is super long, and I knew it would be because I love this topic. I just love it, and I could talk for hours about it, but I won't because I respect your time. And I will talk to you guys later. See you tomorrow about GMOs and organics. You still?